Well, howdy there. This is Captain J.P.R. Hogswallow. You've probably heard me before during the escapades where the creatures were trying to take over the moon, and Professor 80 used his ingenious laser beam to kill them all on the moon and save the planet. Well, I was on the ISS Space Station then, and now I'm just a Texas rancher. I've got my own ranch. Obviously, you get paid awful lot of money when you're a space pilot. Okay. Well, Monsieur Pepe has been in touch with me and says that you in England may need a little pick-me-up with all this thing that's happening. Of course, we're in America, got the same situation, but we don't tend to need bedtime stories in America. So this tonight, as one and only, is a bedtime story from J.P.R. Hogswallow of Texicans. Okay, I've just put all the cows to bed, and that's it. I'm gonna have a few beers later, and yeah, I've got Dolly. She's in here as well. She's singing for me, actually. If you could hear her in the background, yeah, that's all Dolly. She's always here. Okay, well, the story goes, long time ago, there was a mother and a son, and they weren't doing too well. And the mother says, "Well, we ain't got enough food to put on the table, son. So you're gonna have to take that cow to market and get the best price for her, because we need some food desperately. Okay, we need freezer filling. Okay, so you get yourself off to market and go and sell the cow, and then bring back whatever money you bet for the cow." Okay. So the little boy went off, and he went down the road, and there was a guy by the side of the road, and he says, "Hey," he says, "are you going to market to sell that cow?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Look, I got one and only deal for you." He says, "I've got these 3 magic beans here." He says, "I'll give you these 3 magic beans." He says, "They're gonna bring you untold wealth." He says, "So right." The little boy looked at him and think, 3 magic beans, that sounds good. He says, "Well, I'll take that cow off you, and I'll give you the 3 magic beans." He says, "And then all you have to do is plant them in the ground, and then wait next day, and then all your dreams will come true." So the little boy, he never made it to market, and he went home and says, Mom, look, I got these 3 magic beans. This man sold me before I got to market, and now they ain't got the cow, but they got these 3 magic beans, and they're going to make us loads of money. Well, she absolutely hit the roof. She says, "You... go to bed." And she threw the beans out the window. So that was it. No supper or nothing, and he cried his way to sleep that night. Well, next morning, he walked out on the porch, and sure enough, there was a damn big, huge beanstalk thing. It had grown all the way up to the clouds. Only one had grown, and the other 2 had obviously died, or been no good. But anyhow, he thought, right, okay, I'm going to climb this beanstalk and see what's at the top. So, little boy started off, and then a bit later on, his mother came out and saw the giant beanstalk, and she says, where's my son gone? And oh my gosh, he's at that beanstalk, and I can't go fetch him, no. So anyhow, the little boy got up there, and then he was into the clouds before we knew it. And he walked a ways, because there was actually some kind of like cloudy stuff up there, and he walked a ways, and then he saw this like castle. So he went to the castle, and he sneaked inside the door, and sure enough, there was a mess of gold and silver and all manner of things, and these golden eggs were everywhere. So he thought, if I could just take a few of these golden eggs home to Mother, she'll forgive me for getting rid of the cow. So anyhow, he had a look and around, and there was such a lot of food about, and he started to eat the food, and he got really, really tired. But then he looked around, and then there was a goose, and the goose was laying golden eggs. solid gold eggs. And the goose was about his size. It wasn't actually, very big goose. It was about his size, but it was laying these solid gold eggs. So anyhow, he heard a noise. And he was quite distressed about this noise because it was huge, like huge footprints. Like boom, 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 boom. And it says, and there was a giant walked through the door to where the stash of the loot was. The giant walked through the door, and it says, "Hee ho fo fum. I smell the blood of a Texican. Be he living or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." Well, that little boy, he absolutely poo-pooed himself, and he had to get out there quick, but he grabbed the golden goose and ran with the golden goose as fast as his legs would carry him, and the giant saw him running out the door, and he ran after him. Oh dear, that's not very good. Need those beers. So anyhow, the giant ran after him, and the ground was shaking and everything, and the little boy, he got to the top of the stalk, started climbing down. It was a long ways down. So he got to the bottom of the thing, and the golden goose just ran away then, there and there, and he thought, oh, and then he saw that right up in the clouds, the giant was climbing down. So he thought, right, and he got his woodcutter. He got his woodcutter and he started chopping at the stalk. He chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped, and the stalk started to wobble, and the stalk started to groan, and the stalk started to collapse, and it collapsed, and the giant fell down all that ways, and there was a massive impact on the ground, and the giant was dead. So that was good eating for the next few years for everybody around those parts, because they got a nice giant to eat, so that's really cool. Okay, but a little boy, he went and got that golden goose, and he took it to his mother that day, and he says, "Mum, look, I've got a golden goose that lays real eggs." And she clouted him round the head. She says, "I'm just sick of these lies you keep telling me, son." And he says, "No, it's real, it lays golden eggs." And in that case, the goose dropped out a golden egg, and it fell on the floor. Oh my gosh, she says, "Son, I'm never going to doubt you again. You are the bestest son I have ever had." Well, you're the only son I've ever had, but you're the bestest son I've ever had. And that was it. They all lived happily ever after, and everybody was eating giant burgers for the next 3 years. Well, nice to tell you these stories, and I might even make an appearance some other time, but not now, because I've got to go and have down my few beers with Dolly, who's been quiet now for a while. Bye then. You all look after yourselves, okay?